buzz about the Hound on top. Holly.
Well, Michael, you see them everywhere along the roads. You read them. They help you get where they're going. I'm talking about road signs, but the question is, who makes them? Who decides what they say, where they go, and what happens when they come up missing? How often do they have to be replaced? Well, we're going to find out this morning because we are live in Culpeper, Virginia at the Virginia Department of Transportation Regional Sign Shop. So we are going to get the real story this morning on the business of road signs.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Well, you see them, you read them, they help you get to where you're going.
And this morning we're showing you where street signs come from.
Well, Art, they turn out about $100,000 a year. They have a budget of around $900,000, and their whole job is to tell us all where to go. We are live this morning in Culpeper, Virginia at the Virginia Department of Transportation's Regional Sign Shop. This is not something you get to see every day. We're taking you behind the scenes to see exactly how road signs are made. It's all happening live next on Fox 5 Morning News. Stay with us.
Okay, stop. Merv, deer crossing. You can't travel far without seeing a street sign of some sort.
And this morning, Holly's visiting a Culpeper, Virginia facility that makes 100,000 signs a year. Holly.
That's an amazing number, I think. 100,000 signs a year. And what's even more interesting is that this is just one of 3 sign shops that are in the Commonwealth. So making road signs is a very busy business. I'll just say that. No one knows that better than Max Carpenter. He's the Transportation Operations Manager of this facility. Good morning to you.
Morning.
You know, I think this is one of those things that people just take for granted. You know, we see road signs all the time, but we never really think about what it takes to make them. But you think about it every day, all day, don't you?
Pretty much. Welcome to the Culpeper Regional Sign Shop. We're one of 3 regional sign shops across the state, and there are 7 other sign shops that produce the handmade signs that you'll see later in another segment. We produce anywhere around 175,000 square feet of mass-produced type signs a year. When I say mass-produced, I mean signs that are used and made in large quantities so that the cost is cheaper. We buy our aluminum from in pre-cut quantities and sizes from a vendor. They're then reflective sheeting is then applied to them for all the different colors of signs and stuff that we use.
Now, who decides, I mean, where do you, exactly what colors, what the shapes need to be, what, you know, the regulations of a standard sign, be it a stop sign or a yield sign or whatever?
Hey, we have manuals that we use from the Federal Highway Administration. One is called the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices. The other one is a standard highway sign manual that has all the designs and stuff.
Now, do those ever change, like over time?
Yes, in fact, there has been, over the last 3 years, there's been 2 or 3 updates of those manuals.
So, like, what sign would change? Like a dimension of a sign, for example, or a color?
One that especially changed is the reduced speed ahead sign, which used to be a black and white, a rectangular type sign. Now it's a diamond-shaped sign. It's yellow and black and white. It has the speed limit embedded on the reduced speed ahead, where it just used to be words for the reduced speed ahead.
So now, do you like it when you get to make a whole new sign, or are you like, come on, the old one was good enough?
Well, we've gone more into the symbol-type signs in the last, say, 5 to 10 years because of people immigrating to this country that may not be able to
trying to make it a little more universal, I understand.
Make it more universal across the nation as to what type and what signs we use.
As we're watching them make the one-way signs here, is this almost kind of just like, you know how they like silk screen T-shirts kind of a thing? Is that a similar process that we're seeing here?
It's the same type process. We used that as kind of an automated type machine. We used to do all of it by hand. They would have pulled the squeegee and pour the paint and everything on by hand, but now we have an automated type machine that does that. We make our own screens through a photo stencil process, pretty much like a picture is made throughout the picture, industry.
How long does it take for them to dry then? Because I see them kind of put them on the racks here.
We've kind of come up with a new process of that also. We have a drying room now that was designed and fabricated by people here from the complex. It used to take us 24 to 48 hours to dry signs like that. Now the signs can be screened, dried in about 3 hours, and ready for shipment.
Now, is your crew a little more loopy at the end of the day than when they start? Because, there's some strong paint smells going on in here today.
It is a little bit, but the paint inks and stuff that we use are safety checked to be sure that there's no problems or anything with the...
And this is kind of where you store all your signs, I take it. How many different signs do you all actually make?
Probably anywhere from 150 to 200 different signs in the mass-produced area.
And how long, what's the durability of these signs?
Once they're put on the roadway, the manufacturer of the sheeting, which is 3M Company, warranties the sheeting for 12 years.
12 years. Now, Max,
That's
you and
if it's no damage to the...
Right, I was going to say, Max, you and I both know that the signs don't always last 12 years, and in fact, coming up in our next hour, we're going to talk a little bit about how these signs, or how often, I should say, some of them need to be replaced, why they need to be replaced, and then you heard Max reference the handmade sign area. We're going to take you and show you that as well. Very, very interesting. Back to you.
Thanks, Julie. Well, this morning, medical researchers say they've come up with a test to determine how long you'll live.
Coming up, we're going to tell you about the questions you're going to have to answer and just who this test is geared towards.
Plus, Grandmothers Uniting will show you what a group of grannies was out protesting.
And Holly is checking out something that's vital to our commute, the skinny on signs later on with mobile messages. Holly.
Well, Michael, if you think life is tough for you, imagine being a road sign. You got to deal with wrecks, you got to deal with weather, you got to deal with thieves. We are live this morning in Culpeper at the Virginia Department of Transportation sign shop. Coming up, we are indeed going to talk about how often they have to replace signs and why. Plus, we're going to show you some of the handmade signs. It's all live next on Fox 5 Morning News. Stay with us.
Who invites you to shift the way you move through the world.
You'll have a hard time finding street signs like Stoner's Lane and Mary Jane Drive around here, and people are going crazy for cuckoo.
Just a few of the road signs that are often swiped right off their posts. Well, Holly's live at a place that will help explain that to you. Holly.
Okay, let's all admit it. Have you ever seen a street sign with your name in it and you're like, man, I'd love to have that for my bedroom? Well, apparently there's a lot of people that do that kind of thing. And there's other reasons, of course, that street signs get taken out. And here is where they replace them, as we are at the Virginia Department of Transportation street sign, road sign shop, where they have been busy since we've been here early this morning. Ray Gore Jr. is the superintendent at the sign shop here. Good morning to you.
How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing very well. And so I guess there really are all different kinds of reasons why signs get taken out.
Oh, yeah, you have age, which the warranty covers them up to 12 years, and 10 years, 100% replacement. We do a check on them twice a year for warrant to reflection. You have accidents, which this particular sign right here was on Afton Mountain in '64, and it was hit. And with the insurance company is going to pay for the replacement of this sign.
So if you take out a sign and it's your fault, I guess then you have to pay to replace it.
Yeah, your insurance takes care of it.
How much does the average sign cost?
It usually runs, it depends on the size. You know, the bigger the sign, the more the cost. But it usually runs like, big sign like that, about $12 square foot.
$12 a square foot.
Yes,
Oh, wow. So,
roughly.
yeah, that can be pretty pricey then.
Yeah.
So the moral of that story is you want to hit a small one.
Oh, yeah.
Which signs do you have to replace the most?
Stop signs.
Really?
Yeah. They have a tendency to end up in college dormitories and everything like that. And plus they get hit.
I was also reading that it seems like female street sign names get stolen more than male names do.
I don't know about that. Now,
Maybe the guys are stealing it for the girls.
I could very well be.
Special little Valentine's Day gift, right? Like yesterday. So this one right here, you know, before we were watching some of the mass-produced signs, these are actually handmade.
Yes. This section over here is the areas where you only make like one or two of a special item. And it's hard to mass produce them because of the quantity.
Now, see, it amazes me that it looks like he's just kind of eyeballing it there as far as getting it straight.
No, he's done laid out a line. He's got his measurements there where everything's centered up.
Oh, I see the markings on there now. Yeah.
There's a black magic marker line there, which when you get through, it'll wipe right off.
And those are just, they're kind of like peel and stick letters kind of thing, just like you can get it off Office Depot or whatever.
Well, you can't get it off. Once it's stuck down, it's very hard to get off.
It is hard. It doesn't, because it has to stay on for 12 years.
And if you don't, the kids could come along and change the messages to what they would like to have it.
Surely kids wouldn't do that.
Nah.
Oh, stop. They would not. Now, who decides exactly like what the sign says or what information needs to be on there?
Your traffic engineering section comes through and tells you, does studies and gives you letters and things on the signs that you make.
How often do you have any kind of misprints or anything like that, or you mess up a sign?
Well, everybody's human.
Yes, we all are. Yes, we all are.
And it seems like that when you make a mistake, it is found rather quickly.
Rather quickly?
Yeah.
So you don't have like a graveyard of signs here somewhere where the signs go?
No, we try not to have too many of those.
Now, is there anything in particular that you guys have to keep in mind, and we'll kind of come over here and take a look at another sign that's being made, that you have to keep in mind when you're making a sign that perhaps people, wouldn't think about?
Well, you have to follow your specs for visibility to a T. Because if they're not followed, then you're opening up yourself for a chance of lawsuits.
Is this like as we're watching him put that on there, it's a like one-shot deal? I mean, once it sticks, it sticks.
With the black, it's not too bad, but with the silver and the colors, it's usually pretty hard to get back up.
And wouldn't you ever just be tempted to like make that a little faster, the speed limit?
Yeah, well, they do anyway. They drive it.
Are you saying people ignore your signs?
Yeah, if you're working in the middle of the road, you would know.
Right, right. So now you guys make the signs here, but then obviously someone else puts them up?
I have a couple crews here that work in the 9 counties in this district, and then plus we ship some out to some other districts that we take care of. We do some Northern Virginia district and Stanton district also.
And I want to show this sign right up here, the UVA sign, because I understood it took a while to get those colors just right.
Yeah, well, the colors on that one wasn't too bad as the Mosby Heritage sign that you were talking about earlier. That particular gray was we had to do a lot of weighing of the colors and everything and put together
things
together.
You don't think about.
Yeah.
The Mosby Heritage area, one of my personal favorites.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for letting us be here and watch you guys work this morning. We really do appreciate it.
Yes,
and work it has been, because they have been nonstop, like I said, from the start. And so there you go, a little behind-the-scenes look at our road signs. Don't take them for granted anymore. You see how much hard work goes into it, and now you know. Back to you.
Thanks, Holly. Appreciate that behind-the-scenes look.